سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. At different times in our history, different verses have gained prominence, and one that comes to light in very early Islam, and one with which you are probably quite familiar, is when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. There was utter disbelief amongst the companions. On the one hand, he was sick, and so they expected that he would leave the world. But I would guess that it was this void, this massive void that was left behind, and understanding the consequences of what life would be like without his presence left them in a state of disbelief. And at this time, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu stands up and recites a verse, and Umar radiallahu anhu later on comments on that. He says it is as if that verse was revealed at that point in time only. وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ أَفَإِنْ مَاتَ أَوْ قُتِلَ انقَلَبْتُمْ عَلَىٰ آقَابِكُمْ. He says Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is a messenger, no more, no less. Other messengers have come and gone. Would you then turn on your backs, renege, now that he is gone? So Umar, who for that moment had temporarily lost his presence, came back and realized, well, this is really a verse of the Quran that speaks to me and speaks to all of us and prepares us for that time when Rasulullah will no longer be. In the same vein, we have this particular verse that we've been discussing, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا, that indeed we have made you a middlemost community. In the past 10 years, this particular verse became extremely important to fight extremism, because the Muslim world was torn apart by those who engaged in all kinds of actions, some utterly barbaric, in the name of Islam. And so we went hunting for a solution, and here was this verse that says, you are a middlemost community. You should not be given to extremes. There are ways in which and by which you can address your problems. Taking the law into your own hands is not one solution. Killing people summarily, without just cause, without legal procedure, is certainly not the way to do this. It also divided the communities globally between those who had a particular understanding of Islam and those who had a different understanding of Islam. And so you'd find that Group A claimed that they were part of the Wasat, the middlemost community. Group B claimed that they were part of that middlemost community. I remember a conference that they had in Chechnya, the capital of Chechnya. I forget what it's called. Grozny, there we go. In which the ulama of the Azhar and some of the ulama of the Yemen and many of the ulama of South Asia got together to speak out against extremism, because extremism came from a particular understanding of Islam, and so they had to counter that. And they did so by coming together in Grozny, and they put out the statement. And if you go back and look at that statement, you will find that a key element of that statement is this particular verse. If, however, you go back 10 years or 15 years or 50 years, you will find that this verse does not feature prominently. So there are verses like that that simply just appear and provide a solution to our problem, a reorientation of the community to point them in the right direction. Inshallah, we'll talk more about this tomorrow. Wa alaikum salam.